Howdy everyone, welcome to the stream. How are y'all doing? Trying to code my own game. Then I see Game Endeavor is live, and here I come. Well, glad to have you here, bud. First, second, y'all were third, second, and third, but good try. Game Endeavor, do you teach Godot? Well, previously, because I had the tutorials on the channel, but that's about it. Oh, good. Can we not do that? Thank you. Let's see. This old channel's about it, yeah. But I'm going to be doing devlogs from now on, so no more tutorials on the channel for at least a long time. Not a long time, but for the foreseeable future. Let's go! Let's do it! Let's do it! Let's do it! Hype, hype, howdy, howdy. Howdy, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Today we're going to be working on abilities. So we have a few already. We have the sword ability. I don't know which I have. Actually, yeah. Sword ability is not in it because we need to move it over to the ability system. I started working on an ability system separate from what we had before. So before, what I was going to do was have a sword. You press the ability button and it would do its thing. We had magic staffs. So you push the ability on your magic staff and you do it. Instead, I'm going to move away from that. And I'm going to have it ability based. So like maybe you want to make a battle mage. In that case, you could have a sword and cast magic, you know, and you could dual class this way. So that's the approach I'm going to take. So I've already separated it out. It's got an ability system. The player has, and I also implemented where the player stores these abilities. If we pull up the player, which I also finally named to player scene instead of playable character, thank goodness. But so you can see here, this is old. That's no longer needed. We have this. This is that stores our abilities. And then we load these up in these classes. And then, as you can see here, they're their own classes. So if we say fireball ability, and we have a new lightning ability to show off as well. So if you load this up, all it does, it has a use function and a can use. And this is what performs the ability. So it spawns the fireball and shoots it out. Do you plan on having a gun ability? Guns are being considered. If I do guns, it'll be very, very primitive, like blunderbuss or pistols or like very like archaic weaponry, like very, very slow but powerful. but I'm not feeling it. Like, it's just something I'm considering. Love this game already. Looking forward to these videos. Good, good. Glad you're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to making them. Like, really excited about this game because this is the game I've always wanted to play. So yeah, as you can see, basic fireball stuff. We have a lightning spell though, which I'm gonna show off right quick. What it does is it finds the nearest enemy, and whoop, is that there it goes. No, I gotta get my mana back. Boom, and hits him. So we need to make some kind of lightning graphic that kills him. What I'm thinking is it has a line renderer. Well, go ahead and open that scene up as well. So it has this line renderer here, and it's just rendering the line. We could make a graphic for it, stretch that graphic out. It'll go to Godot will automatically tile it if we set up everything right, and then we could do some fancy stuff. We could animate it, the flickering, like we could do a couple of these and then do that animation. We could even move it, which would be an option. I think you can offset these maybe in some way. Fun stuff, a lot of fun stuff we can do. Wow, this game has progressed so much. Loving the new look. Thank you. Have you progressed since when? Because not since the devlog, not as much, but the other streams, yes. Like, we've come a long way. We got these little cute little fox. If I was, for some reason he's broken and he's not turning around, I was messing with the facing variables earlier because I had a facing variable and a look variable, and I couldn't remember which did what, and so I got rid of the look variable, and that might have broke his thing. So yeah. And then and there we go. So abilities. Now, there's other abilities we're going to consider. Sword ability, like I haven't got too many ideas for a sword ability, but you know, a couple that come to mind is one that maybe you dash forward and attack. I think that would be cool. Another where you attack and then dash backwards. I think that would be cool. We got some both abilities to consider, such as maybe a piercing shot that will attack everything that the arrow goes through. We could have like a wedge or a tri-shot where you shoot and it'll shoot out 3, maybe 5 projectiles at one time. Could be upgradable. So a lot of stuff we can do with this. I plan on making a top-down shooter, so this is really intriguing and useful to me. So thanks for giving me the opportunity to learn so much. I'm glad to help you, bud. A lot of the basic same concepts, because I'm basically making like a twin stick shooter, but I'm not too big on like bullet hells and all that stuff. I want to make like a twin stick shooter, but in like more of a Zelda style, where the combat's a little more slower paced. It's it's not hectic, but the enemies are interesting. So like rather than dodging bullets and all this other stuff, you deal with interesting enemies. You know, you have an enemy that has a longer attack, you know, enemy that has this wide sweep that you have to worry about. You know, that kind of that's the kind of stuff that I enjoy. I don't, not too big on bullet hells. Maybe like a parry for sword ability. I would like a parry. That would be interesting. Let's pull up the old Trello board and start jotting stuff down. All right. Pull it up first. So we have abilities. I've been doing here. That was the charge and the retreat that I mentioned. And we have ability. What was it? Parry. Parry. There we go. We will work on that one as well. Parry will be interesting because you would want to time it with the enemy's attack. I'm curious. We could do a hold, like a parry, and it'll hold it for a second and wait for an attack. And if it detects an attack, then it will do the parry. And that could be like a more powerful attack. I like that. Can you show the Fox script? Well, that's not really too much to show, but sure. Foxy, Foxy. That's his. Yeah, like I said, not much. So, let's pull up his state machine because there's probably more in there. So yeah, we have, and then we'll dive into these as well. So we have apply stop velocity, which just stops some very basic stuff. Apply movement, that just moves his velocity. Apply facing, which I'm guessing is broken for some reason. And then update the animation. And then we have this follow velocity, which is probably what you're interested in, I would imagine. That's the only thing that I can imagine would be interesting with this fox. Because everything else is pretty bog standard stuff. Finally, I made it in time. Well, welcome to the stream, bud. So let's open that up. I believe it would be in probably AI. And this is where all the fun stuff is. Apply, follow. No. Alright, so it might be in battle character then. Still no. I don't believe that. Okay, hold on. We're going to figure this one out, because that's weird. There we go. Okay. And then this will have there's their own methods as well. This is very basic. It just gets the keeper, which is the player. Because we could have, like I'm thinking this, yeah, this is an animal script. So we could have like chickens and cows and stuff that don't follow the player. But this assumes that it has an owner. Couldn't use owner because owner is a Godot variable. If it does, then it uses this function, which is probably the one you're interested in. This is an interesting one because it stops the fox before it gets to the player. We'll take a look at both of these as well. So get directions towards. This uses the context-based pathfinding, which I will show off in a second. So there is not pathfinding, I would say. It just looks at the area around it and then tries to take the best approach from what it can see in a very short radius around it. Have you thought of a power attack thing, which is a very powerful shot that can only be used every couple of minutes? No, I don't want to do anything like that. I feel like that's way too long. What I'm doing instead is a stamina-based system. I'm not going to be doing any cooldowns. Well, any big cooldowns. Anything longer than a few seconds. Well, not a few seconds. Like quarter seconds and stuff like that. Are you planning to make any gameplay mechanic related to the fox, like dogs in Fable could find some items to dig? There's actually a foxhole thing that Deanie suggested. I have it. Where is it? It should be in pet mechanic. Pet features. Oops. Fox can find foxy holes, which the player gets random goodies and coins. But I want to be different types of pets, not just a fox. So, like, if you've seen the other one, it was a mimic that can act as portable storage. I think that's a really cool idea. Yeah. Okay. I'm planning on making a parry ability in my game, which when the enemy attacks the player, when a player is in the parry state, the player would be invincible for a short period of time and do a strong slash. So that could be interesting. Oh, pardon, yes. So let's see here. Well, let's look at this one. Yeah, this is the context-based system, which makes an array, as you can see here. It makes an array, and it will have as many, we can put it as many as once the way I've done it. I've done, I think, 8, 8 or 16, but I'm thinking 8. And so each array value points in a direction, starting from the right, going all the way around in a circle. And what this does is it uses it to check for things like collision, for enemies that might be, or things that are around it. Maybe it doesn't necessarily check those directions, but it puts weights on those directions. So say you have your character here and you have an enemy here somewhere. It looks and it uses a dot product to say, if I need to move away from this enemy to separate us, then it would put a stronger weight that direction, basically. And as for the dead zone factor, it's a very simple thing. It's where it says it gets the length between them. Does some simple math here. Let's see. It's been a while since I've done this one, so like I stole this from my previous project. So it gets the length if it's greater than arrival distance and arrival dead zone. Arrival distance is okay. So arrival dead zone first is where it should stop. Like if it's a 16 arrival distance, then it will stop 16 pixels from its target. A dead zone, excuse me. The distance, say it's an 8 pixel distance, and from that 16 of the dead zone to the distance, it will start slowing down, so it doesn't stop immediately. So that's what that does, and then we just do some math here to get a value from 0 to 1 for how fast the fox should be moving. All right, so are we good? All caught up? And I think so. If y'all have any interesting pet ideas, be sure to drop them. I've been trying to get a few. Take a look at the ones we have already. I have a couple of ideas for my game that I think might help you too. I would love to hear them. We could help each other. Let's see. But yeah, it's a cat, dog, dragon, mouse, robot, chicken, not the show. Pig, bunny, donkey, alien. Alien, no, because Previously, I had an idea for making a science fiction style game where you would be this guy that crash landed on this planet, this primitive planet, and then maybe you had some kind of alien dude. I was just throwing the idea out there, but it's not going to be out there. Like, we can go get rid of that, in fact. Can I... Would love to get rid of this. Here. There we go. Fox, which we have. Hamster, which follows you in a little hamster ball. I think that's cute. Worm and hawk. We don't have mimic. Let's have the mimic here. Panda bunny. Panda bunny. Red panda, isn't that a thing? We'll add both of those. Panda bunny and a red panda. Because red pandas are cute, if they're the things I'm thinking of. How about a combo ability with the fox where they perform a sync attack? That could be interesting. I do want to implement some features for the fox. So it will attack. Syncing we might put on the back burner because that sounds like a lot of work for more than what I want to do right now. Let me go ahead and make a card for that though and put it on the back burner. So pet attack syncing. But I do want to have like your pets attack with you. And there's also want to be like a pet raising, finding, taming or mechanic or whatever. Like in say I think it was Legend of Mana. You go into these dungeons, and then you would find these egg nests, and then you'd have to capture the egg. You'd actually have to capture it. Like, they'd walk around, and you'd have to do these things to capture it and lure it and whatever, all that fun stuff. And then you'd take it back, and you'd raise it. And, something like that. As your dreams, you had to go into the tower. You found these eggs, you would bring back, and then you'd hatch them. So I would like to do something like that. Something in that vein. Alright, so we had... The parry attack is interesting. We can go ahead and take a look at that one. So I think we're going to go ahead and throw that on the fire and get started. Do you have stats in your game? If you do, you may use pets to buff some stats depending. Oh, that's good. I do want to have stats in the game. I have not done that yet, but I like that a lot, actually. Pets provide stat buffs. I like that a lot. I apologize for asking so many questions. Ask away, my dude. Like, I'm cool. I just want to chill out and chat. But I've had a few ideas that I really want to tell you. I mean, I don't know how everybody else takes it, but, I'd rather just sit here and chat. I promise I'll stop after 1. Bomb. 2, I do want to have bombs in here, like Zelda-style bombs. More interesting, I like not just place it or whatever, but I would like to throw out the bomb. I think that would be cool. Teleport gun. That's key coins that are collected once in a challenge. Nice. Hey there, I've been loving watching your stream. Nice work. The game is interesting. Well, thank you very much. Thanks for being chill. Anytime, bud. Anytime. I mean, that's the whole point of the streaming. It's just to chill out. I do the work. If I wanted to work, I could do that off stream. The streams is meant to be for us to just chill out. I mean, I guess other people want to see work. You can't watch me work when I'm not in the stream, but hey, it'll be all right. So we have this area here, which is what I'm going to be using for the debug area probably. I'll probably make it a little more interesting later because, sometimes I want to use clips from the live stream and this is not very interesting. So, but it'll be good for now. And that was another thing I've done recently is I've changed the way immunity works. I need to fix that. If you notice, he took 2 hits and then 1. So that's broken. Let's fix that. Or not fix that. Let's put it on the... I need to make a card for that bug. Hitboxes can take damage twice. I don't know how to word that. Basically what's happening is the immunity is turning off while the hitbox is still inside of them. The damage area that's inside of the hitbox. So they're getting hit. The immunity kicks in. It waits. It's not long. It's not longer than the swipe. And so before the swipe disappears, they get hit again. That's the problem with that one, I think. That would be my guess. We're just going to throw a bug on that. And we'll fix that. We need to fix that real soon, to be honest. Do you plan on adding crafting? Maybe. Not in the near future. Crafting, I don't want to get bogged down with the crafting mechanic. If I do, it's not going to be a major thing. But I do want to make... Basically, the idea for this game is to make a sort of blend between RPG, like an action, like Zelda games and Final Fantasy, but with also a bit of survival aspect to it. Not so much because I think that's probably been a little overdone nowadays. But I would like to have like your base building, you know, and that's everything's breaking today, and I don't know why. That's fun. That'll be great. Yeah, so survival base building aspects. And I think if you're going to be having some kind of base building mechanics, you got to have some kind of crafting mechanic. Otherwise, you're just buying and finding everything, and I don't think people are going to appreciate that too much. So yes, we'll probably have some kind of crafting feature. I say pushed it down, not interested in it right now, but I want to have the demo out ideally in a few months, and I probably want to have a crafting system in that. I don't know what kind of crafting system I would do though. I'm not sure about that one. Would love some ideas if y'all ever have any. Cause I don't know. It's like you could just do a very simple crafting system, but I think that's meh. Yeah, I just need to think about it. So abilities, parry ability. That's what we're gonna do. So let's pull this up and think. Let's think about this design. The abilities right now. I also added controller support. Let me go ahead and pull that out. So the abilities right now are. That's terrible there. They're mapped to the keyboard. It's the control. If you hold control and you press either the left or right click, or if you press Alt and press either the left or right click, those are your 4 abilities. The joypad, which it's going to be a little bit interesting, and I'll have to talk about that. The controls for the joypad is a little weird because it's, as you can imagine, it's a twin stick shooter, which means you need the right stick used sometimes to aim right here. So like right here, I'm moving, and I've got this set to where I can use the left stick to aim. This is fine for me. I need to get this tested for everybody, but this is fine for me for sword combat. So like this area here, I'm cool with this. But I can also add the ability for the right stick to aim so that you can sort of run facing the opposite direction. So the right stick will override the left stick if you're pressing it. I need to get that tested. And what do y'all think about that one? Granted, you're not playing it, so it's hard to judge, but what do you think, just that idea? I think it works. I think it's good. The main reason I wanted this was because of the bow. Like, it's very difficult to aim the bow if you have to move at the same time. And so I think we have to have this for the bow. Now, another thing about this is, I've never, God, so many breaks. Okay. It's going to be a fun week. The thing about the bow, let's see. I lost that shot. I lost that thought. Be all right. Oh, right. So, the trouble with this is I was going to have it to be... I love the idea of using Control and Alt to change what abilities are mapped to your mouse buttons. Yeah, I like that too. Me, I am terrible for getting distracted in a thought. Here it goes. Bow. Right. So, I was going to have X for attack, right? And I still do kind of, and I'll explain that in a second. And the trouble with that is if you're using the right thumbstick, then it's very difficult to attack. Like you'd have to attack like that, and that's not really easy. And so instead, I've got it mapped to the right bumper. The thing is, as you can see from the keyboards, I had 4 abilities: the control with the clicks, the alt with the clicks, and so I was going to have the 4 shoulder buttons be the abilities. But since I have to use attack for this one, it sort of throws a kink in that one. Because now there's only 3 shoulder buttons. And so what I'm thinking is the left shoulder and left trigger are abilities. And if you hold right trigger, then it changes those abilities again. So the same concept as the control and alt, except for it's the trigger on the here. So one ability, that would be another ability. You hold this trigger down and you get the other ones. Maybe you could have it as an options menu where the player can decide if they want movement and attack to be independent and happening simultaneously. I think I've considered that one. Because I do want to have... I was playing with that, as you can see. Let's see. Let me open this up. So the player... We have set joypad style. This is where I was fiddling around with that. So I was making it to where I could change the axes. So originally I had it to where the right stick was the only thing that did it, and then if you change this and set it as whatever, like I just threw that in there but didn't implement it. You could change it to be left control also makes it move. And then I just decided to do both, but I think you're right. I think we should have to make it to where, because if you're not holding right stick, then it's going to be where you aim, where you're moving. That might frustrate people. So yeah, I think our option is a good idea. I think that would be fun, and we'll feel more fun, and we'll open more fun mechanics. Love you guys. How about an ability where you connect minds with your pet and let you control them? That would be tricky because you would have to stop controlling your character. It would leave you invulnerable, but that's not a bad idea. Like a telekinetic pet. Telekinesis is when you move things, which is also a really cool idea. I would like to play with the idea of telekinesis in this game. Let's add that. Oh, this is terrible. Is that how you do it? Telekinesis. There. Ignore that. Such a weird word. Come on. There we go. Alright, and then we'll add your one, which is telepathy. Telepathy is when you mind talk, right? Just dropped by. Welcome. And welcome, Simon and Marrero. Welcome to the stream. And then we have, let's see, pet mechanic. No, that's just explaining the mechanic pet features. So, mind controlling pet. That would be interesting. Wait, this ain't Twitch. Yeah, I decided to go back to YouTube. I think it makes more sense. Yeah. I think it'll make more sense for growing the channel. Like, I don't want to have them separate, because then I'd have to use YouTube and hope it assumes it grows Twitch. Whereas my YouTube, I know it's going to grow, and I don't have to worry about having to grow both of them. Is Trello better than GitHub projects, or is it just personal? I've actually never heard of GitHub projects. That's the first time I'm hearing about it, bud. So, yeah. Let's see. Or to make programming easier, the player can follow the fox. If you use the telekinesis idea. True. Well, the whole thing I thought used to with the enemies, like you would be controlling the enemies, which means you wouldn't be able to, well, unless you mean the fox is running around on its own. Or you don't control the enemies, but like the pet controls it. Like you have the pet, and it sort of like confuses the enemy, and then they're kind of both on your side. That's an interesting idea. Let's make an extra note to that. So with mind controlling pet, you could control it, or the pet flips its AI. So he's listed. I mean, it's a big game. It's going to take telepathy. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. At least, if anything else, I don't know if we'll use that as a name because it's really corny at the same time. But that we can make a little corny joke in there. I think that's great. So telepathy. That's so good. Teleporting. Draw a ray cast in the direction the player is facing and change position to a direction along that vector or where it collides with just before. I like that actually. Teleporting. That could be a magic ability. We could even use it to not even like a ray cast. We could do some kind of shape cast and teleport through walls maybe. Now I did try that in a game one time. He was going to play as this little scientific experiment that broke free and he could teleport around. And I found it difficult to get the controls just right. But it is something I would like to play around with if I have time. So, do I have... We're gonna put this in here though. Ability, let's add it to here since we're not working on it. Get rid of this. Teleportation, which also makes me think of Mark and Recall from Elder Scrolls. I think that would be interesting. Where you mark a spot and you can teleport back to it later through different rooms. So I think that's a cool idea. Let's see. Knock off Rod of Discord. Oh, that sounds familiar. What is the Rod of Discord? Okay. So let's look at this. So we have the the retreat, and parry. Feature creep warning. Yeah. We have to keep in mind a lot of these to-dos are I'm just jotting careful. I'm jotting ideas down. So not everything that is on here will be implemented. It's just I believe it's better to get it down than to not get it at all. So I mean, it's not creeps through card coding. There you go. That is exactly it. Especially if you want to make a working prototype in a few months, yes. And now the working prototype is not going to have like all these features, like all these, not all of them, but a lot of these features that I've mentioned, they're way back burner. Like I don't expect them to get implemented for a year or more. For the demo itself, I just want combat, some basic abilities, maybe 2 or 3. I've got 4 buttons though, which worries me. I feel like I should probably have at least 4 abilities. But since it's a demo, we could just say you didn't experience all the abilities. There's more to come, so we could play off that. But just combat, few abilities, the base building mechanic, nothing too big, but nothing. Well, we'll have to see how that would work for the demo, because I feel like that could be very time involved. Like you would have to play that for a while. In the demo, I'm expecting to be about a 15-20 minute play. So, Terraria's Rod of Discord. I don't get that one too often. Is that the one where you move the dirt? Get a whole bunch of ideas, cut 90% of them. There you go. Or, I mean, the other part of that is you get the ideas, and they might be too big, but they can inspire smaller ideas. So always jot down everything because you can use it for inspiration. And then a dungeon. We want to have a dungeon for the demo. The dungeon in the town. So that's what I'm thinking. Like you start out in the town, meet the people, meet some characters, see what I have in my idea for how to interact with the characters, get a mission to go to a dungeon, do the dungeon demo. If you sell this game, what do you plan on the price for the game being? It depends on how complex it gets. The way it's going right now, I'm thinking around $20. Tree fitty. Like a shockwave that knocks enemies back. I think we already have, we implemented a shockwave before. Sword, but it's been removed. So a lot of this stuff right here, like we implemented the world, all this is not active anymore, I don't think, maybe. So at least not all of it. Some of it is. But yeah, we already have a shockwave here. And it doesn't have any special knockback. So it's something we should consider. There was something else I considered too. The charge ability. Well, I had an idea for like some kind of special ability attack, maybe a multiple attack type thing. We would need to lock the enemy, but not knock them back, so that you can actually use it. Rod of Discord. Oh, that one. Yeah, right. That you get from those little guys in the hollow or the whatever or the hollow whatever. Oh, instant teleports to players to mass position. I've never had one though. Like I've never been able to get one. Oh, an AoE superclass for abilities would make these kinds of things easier. AoE superclass for abilities. For AoEs in general? Probably. I have abilities. Oops. See, I have an ability class, but that's just for using. But these are separate from entities. So if you'll see here, like a lightning, for example, there's the lightning ability, and then it creates a lightning entity, which does the work. But yeah, if we're going to do a lot of AoE stuff, we should probably make a superclass for that. Which, yeah. It's a dumb idea, but what if players... There's no such thing as a dumb idea. Well, what if players get some percentage of the damage taken by a pet? No, that's a dumb idea. No. No, I'm not too keen on that idea. I think the trouble with that, lightning chain will be implemented. I love lightning chains. Chain lightning. It's going to be the next. I probably might even look into it today. But no, the issue with that is there's a couple things wrong with that. One, the player is taking damage that is outside of their control, because an AI that I programmed was not smart enough to avoid the damage. They would hate that. The player would I would get like 50% negative reviews if I did that. So yeah. Rude. That's me, man. I like to joke around. In fact, when I said that there's no such thing as a dumb idea, in my mind I was like, I'm going to end up calling this a dumb idea. So trust me, when I said that, it was perfectly intentional. Lightning chains are broken. Why are they broken? Lightning chains are fun. Let's see. Let's go ahead and let's do that. Spamming lightning chain. Well, there's a magic system. It costs magic to do that. And plus, there's a bit of a cooldown when you cast these. Which, by the way, we have to consider that as well. There might be some kind of cooldown for abilities, and we have to think about how to convey that. I'm probably going to have some kind of thing here in the corner, so you can see your abilities. And there will be some kind of cooldown. Not long ones, like minutes or anything, but I don't know, like just a second or whatever. So we need to convey that to the player, and maybe have some kind of graphic whenever the cooldown's done. It's like those missions where you have to protect an NPC. I hate those. Yes, correct. Escort missions. I hate them. There will be no escort missions here. Yeah. So lightning ability. I'm excited for that one. I've always wanted to code a lightning ability, but I've never done it, and I'm sure it's really easy. Before we do it, because I want this lightning a thing to look cool, maybe we get some art done, because y'all are being awful chatty today. I can draw and talk at the same time. So we're gonna draw some lightning effects. Making the pet yelp when it gets hit might make players care. Yeah. I don't want to do that too much because, that would break my heart. Let's see. Where's my... I guess it's it here. There we go. You can beef up your pet to help you. Yeah, pets will have stats. To what degree, I don't know. Probably for the demo, I'm not going to concern myself about it. But pets probably have. The thing about this game is, here's the core idea. I want to have depth. I want to have a lot of depth to this game without being overwhelming. I want it to be streamlined and easy to pick up for anybody. But at the same time, I want the depth. I want to feel like I'm immersed in the world. There. Oh shit. For throwable pet. Well, that is something that was suggested. Hey there, just wanted to say thanks for your good work on your videos. Your FSM videos saved me from some headache. Well, I'm glad to hear it, bud. I remember when I first started State Machines, I had trouble with it as well. And that's one of the reasons why I made that video. Was because everybody I've seen making an State Machine video, they had a hard time. They may not have had a hard time, but they didn't do a really good job of conveying what a state machine does and how it works. And state machines, they're not difficult, but they can be tricky to explain if you don't do it right. And I feel like, I don't know, like there's very few people that have done it well. And so my whole thing with that state machine video is I want to make this concept straightforward and easy to understand, and I hope I did that. That was the whole thing going in there. And plus I wanted it to be quick because I knew I'd be using it a lot. I didn't want to make somebody sit through a 15-minute video when they're going to need it for every video that I do. Alright, so with the lightning ability, let's see. What I'm thinking is we just have a long, wide texture with a lightning effect. Hello! Howdy, howdy. Welcome, Joe. Welcome, bud. I'm thinking something long, because I don't want it to look too repetitive. And I feel like the longer the better. So I'm thinking 128. By really, really small height, because this is only going to need to be a few pixels. Let's try 8 and see what that looks like. Okay. Now, I've never drawn a lightning effect, so this will be interesting. Boomerang bird for throw +1 for throwable pet. That would be cool, actually. Doesn't have to be a boomerang, but the boomerang is cool. Could be like a spiky ball type thing, or you run up to it, pick it up, and throw it. I like that. I like that a lot. Randomized lightning texture. I considered that. That's not the password. I considered a randomized lightning texture. I wouldn't know how to make one, and I think, and I feel like maybe I could do it better at drawing it, but we'll see. The color palette looks cool. Do you have a technique for picking colors? No, I've practiced. I've done a lot of practice drawing. It's just over and over again. You did a great job. It finally got me to use state machines. Nice. That's what I hoped to do. I always thought they would be too complicated to be worth implementing in my little project. No, they're so simple. They're like crazy simple. But I just feel like everybody has a hard time explaining it. Okay, so we're going to tile this. That way. And then we just have some kind of like some kind of shaggy randomness going on here. And we can have some branches too. Nothing wrong with that, I don't think. Oh, I was talking about the spike pet. I don't think I finished that thought. So we could have like a spike ball. Let me jot that down actually. So we have, which one was it? Pet features, pets should be here. So a spike ball, something like I don't know what games have them. They're very common though, like the big balls with the spikes and. Yeah, and you just run up to it, pick it up. I think that would be cool. +1 on that. Wanted to do a fighting game style, and those videos were perfect for understanding the concept. Great, glad to hear it. I need to rewatch the FSM video. Yes, at least 20 times. Maybe there's some sort of animal we could make a sacrifice. That's a little too dark, but I don't want to go that dark. I like animals. I don't want to sacrifice them. Let's see. Master Cube. I thought there could be a Master Cube pet, but Master Cube is no pet to anybody. If anything, like maybe you become a pet of Master Cube. And so, yeah, I think that's the way we'd go with that one. With this one, I think it might look better if we do some thick areas, but not everything. Dogs +100 damage against bone-based. There you go. There you go. Because there are going to be a lot of bone-based, and that might be a little OP, because the game is about, the main villain is a necromancer. He raises a lot of dead. So there will be a lot of skellies. So pet features. Dog. Bonus against skellies. Throwable pet that throws pets. Sure. Let's see. What is it? Spelunky. You can do that. You can pick up the other players, and the other players can pick up stuff. So yeah, with the lightning, thinking we'll go thick in some areas, thin in the others. Just add a bit of variety, so don't get too samey. Cats get buff against fish monsters. I hadn't had any fish monsters in mind. Do I want fish monsters? Well, we do have water, and I think there was going to have some kind of enemies in water. So yeah, let's jot that down. Cats get bonus against fishies. What does each column mean in Trello? It's just like a grouping. So this is just a distraction. Feel free to ignore it. The chat? No, I'm loving it. I enjoy chatting with y'all. Design. This is each column in Trello in general is just a category. So as you can see, they each have a certain role. And for design, it's stuff that I do plan on implementing, but it's more for a mental note for how the story and stuff is going to go. Like the two towns separated, what does that mean? The lonely golem, who is that? Kind of stuff like that. The weapon classes, the factions, and the Mad Cat. All that's, it's design. It's not stuff that it'll get implemented, but it's not a mechanic. Whereas the to-do is stuff that I need to do, like at some point in the near future. It could be months from now, whatever. It's stuff that I want in the game. Priority is stuff that I need to work on very soon, especially for like the demo and stuff like that. In progress is what I'm currently wanting to work on, like within the immediate future. I've already done this, and this is stuff that I would like to have implemented, but only a long time from now. Not pets pets get moved, because I do want pets in there. And it's in no particular order. I just throw stuff in there. It's not organized at all. Maybe the dog pet can heal when attacking skeletons. That would be an animal abuse. Let's see. What if you can free animals from cages and it will give you animal a temporary buff depending on the rescued animal? Oh, I like that. That's adorable. Okay. Let's throw that into pet mechanic. No? Okay, let me find it. Pet mechanic. That's weird. That's true. That's maybe, I don't know. Rescuing pets. Improve your pet's stats and mood. I think pet mood could be an interesting mechanic in itself. A turtle pet that can absorb some of the damage your player takes, or a turtle pet that gets in between you and the enemies. Y'all are just full of ideas, huh? I'm about to start paying y'all pretty soon. Like a Metal Slug where prisoners give you buffs. I've never played Metal Slug, so I wouldn't know. Alright. So with this, I think of just some little lightning things here and there. Get a little off track every now and again. I'm not using a reference, so hopefully this don't get as bad as the bunny. That looks a little blocky though. So let's clean it up a little bit. Llama pet that provides no discernible benefit but looks cute. Llamas would be cool. Now, not everything has to be a pet, because there are animals in the game that don't mean that it won't be necessarily pets. Most pets are not going to be animals either. Some of the like enemy-based types can be pets as well. So I think that would be cute, like the mimic, for example. Friendly pet that gives you some. Y'all are loving this pet thing, huh? Friendly pet that gives you some presents. Some present that gives you a buff, and give present to enemy that gives them trouble. I would say present, but like some kind of buff casting pet could work. Is if there is a necromancy, can you add a necro pug? What is a necro pug? Let's see. Where did there is necromancy though. Like most of the game is based around it. Like the main villain is a necromancer. And I'm thinking about giving the player some necromancy magic, so they'll be able to raise skeletons and stuff like that. Even though this is not presented as a tutorial, it's actually a lot of content. This helped me a lot with Godot and programming in general. These streams help you a lot. I'm glad. I'm not being very productive today, but that's all right. I mean, hopefully it helped you with design at least. You can it's very inspirational. See how to use a Trello board as much as I've had to pull it up. Llama. Let's look at. Okay, I think we have an animal card. Passive animals. Llama. Llamas are adorable. We could add some to the game. Alright. It's a resurrected pug. Like a dog pug? I mean, that's why I was asking. Like, if it's a dog pug, then howdy Dan, welcome to the stream. If it's a dog pug, then I don't see that be. It seems a little random. Hey, a lot of design tips. Yeah. A lot of design tips. Y'all are outclassing me, to be honest. Y'all should start your own streams. Let's see. I don't like that. Try it up here. You know what we could do? Alright, I have an idea. I said I was going to do a bunch of textures, but I don't want to spend all day drawing lightning textures. What we could do is, if we can animate this texture as moving, we just do it really fast. Like, consider like an animation player, the discrete setting. We could move this every 0.5 seconds and animate it that way. I think that would be cool. Or maybe just have stuff like, I mean, it might look like motion though, so we'd have to be concerned with that. One thing is that this looks off because it's the only one that's really flowing like that. So let's break that up some. Special commands to pets. Wait, are we talking about pets now? The pets have their own pets? Special commands, though. Maybe. That would be interesting. The trouble with that would be controls. Because I want this... You have to keep in mind that I'm using a controller here. And I think I have all my buttons mapped. I have... So, like I said, I have the abilities on the left shoulders. If you right trigger, you get 2 more abilities. Right bumper to attack. X bumper to attack as well, in case you ever want to use... Because right bumper to attack is weird for me. So I've got them both there for your choice. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we'll see. A button to dodge, B button to interact, so to open up chests and stuff like that. Y button opens up your menus and your inventories. That gives a start button for the menu. There is a select button which we could use for inventory. So that would free up the Y button. We could hold the Y button to do commands. The D-pad is taken because of menu navigation. So if you look here, like I can navigate the hotbar. I could. I don't know why I can't now. Are you serious? Oh, I unplugged it to draw. But I can navigate the... I thought that was going to be another damn brick. I can use the D-pad left and right to navigate the hotbar on my controller. Ability that makes you shoot bouncy lasers, but takes time to aim. Bouncy lasers could be cool, but lasers doesn't really fit the genre. Unless it's a magic ability. Just flip the sprite vertically and horizontally so it looks... Oh, we could flip it too. That's a good idea, Joel. We'd want to flip it vertically. If we flip it horizontal... I know, we could flip it horizontally too, couldn't we? Yeah. That's a beautiful idea. Okay, did I finish that sprite? Does it look good? That part looks weird. Let's fix that. I can always touch this up more later, so I'm not too concerned with it. Throw one here. It looks a little off. All right. Yeah, that looks all right. Looks well enough. Throw one here. It's good enough. Let's go ahead and save this. Hold on. Alright. Laser equals magic. Yeah. If we do some kind of magic missile thing, we could do that. I think they already have the ability to bounce. I think I just have it disabled. Here. Let's look. I might have removed the code actually completely. If I look at Fireball. I mean, it's a very simple thing to do, though. Here, yeah. If instead I do, just go velocity equals velocity dot bounce collision dot normal, and then you just count up the collisions, and then however many times you want to collision it. Boop. And we'd have to flip that around. All right, but let's get our lightning in there. Let's fix that. So, lightning entity. Oh, nice. Thank you. Let's keep that plugged in, so I don't have to keep bending over. I'll just have to swap this around. My desk ain't big enough for this kind of thing. There. So, lightning ability. As you can see, it's just a line render. So we're going to extend this out just so that we can see it. We should be fine though. Like, we can either reset it through code, but I don't think it will matter because I think it sets it instantly. Anyhow, unless it doesn't hit anything, in which case you would see it. So bouncing is, yeah, yeah, bouncing super easy. Super easy. It's one line of code. Well, I mean, you need to do the collision check first. But yeah, that's all it is. Make sure it's move and collide. If you do move and slide, you have to do for slide and get slide count. And then, I mean, you would not want to use move and slide, but I'm saying, like, for whatever reason, maybe you have a platformer or something, you want your player to bounce, then you would do that. But then you just need to get slide collision slide. Yeah, then you use that the same way. Ability to consume food-based enemy. Just kidding. That would be interesting. I can't imagine any food-based enemies though. The thumbnail for this thing is pretty gruesome, to be honest. The what? Why? How is it gruesome? Just a kid standing. Well, not a kid, but just a guy standing there with his fox. How is that gruesome? Jeez. Tacker, howdy, Tacker. Welcome to the stream, bud. It still looks goofy, but it'll do for now. So, lightning entity. Okay, so there's some funny stuff we have to do with here. The first being, well, let's add the texture first, if I remember how. Been a while since I've done this, but I think it's, yeah, right there. So, lightning. Let's see. I know we need to re-import this and make it repeat. Okay. Let's see. What else do we need to do? Oh, wait, we didn't set the size here. I was about to say it should at least be rendering. So let's go with the high. We made it to that. We made it 128. Let's go with that. And this is the weird part. We need to set the width. Or we did. I think we did it for 8. We need to set it for however size we did that. And then I would have expected it to show. Unless it's doing it. Let's try this. No? Let's see. More like about to attack the fox. The implications. No. Oh my, I didn't know you could use align to do with red textures like that. If I can figure it out, yeah, it'll blow your mind. But for some reason, we're not getting there. I was going to do a video on how to make the lasers, and it was going to use this fact. And you could even animate the line and everything. It was really cool. Potatoes. Welcome to the stream, Potato. Assuming you just got here. Let's see. Oh, here we go. This is it. You have to do this one, which is tile. There we go. And then we have to set this to white. And boom. And I thought, did we not re-import this? There we go. And so there you go. And the cool thing about this is, watch this. If I can change this. I can turn off this grid snap. You can change this wherever. So that's really cool. So let's get rid of that. Do you consider summoning Paul Bear in the game? I do intend to have a Paul Bear pet. Not mental. Any key was had mentioned it in a comment. Was it a video? No, it was a post. It's something. There was a comment somewhere. Let's see. I think it was the devlog, I believe it was. So, now I need to remember how to offset the texture, though. And I don't remember that one. Because I'm pretty sure I can do it. Oh, by the way, will you ever make a tutorial on your context-based pathfinding? If I ever make a tutorial, again. Ideally, I don't want to. Tutorials, a lot of work for little gains. And they're just frustrating to make. I'd rather make the devlogs if they're successful, and which they seem to be. You're not the one that commented the last time, are you, Wibbly? About how did I talk to you already about that in the DMs? I sent somebody a link for how I found out about them and how they're implemented. I mean, it's very simple though. It's just like I said, just an arrays that point in, and then you add weights to every direction, and then you take the one with the biggest weight, which allows you to. It's very nice though. Like I'm gonna show that off right quick. For anybody that hasn't seen it before, like there's pathfinding. It's not actual pathfinding, but it looks like it is under normal situations. So like the little foxy's gonna follow me. Like he'll actually go around that. And there's absolutely no like true pathfinding. He's just all he's doing is he's casting out raycast and saying I can't walk here, and you know there's other stuff too, like the bias is one big one. Because one thing that happens is if the wall is really large here, and he was on one side and I was on the other, he would go towards the edge, and then that bias would take over. Like he'd lose. It's the thing would tell him, the context would tell him I'm closer here, so to cut back, and so he just keep cutting back and forth. So there's a bias in here to tell him to keep going in the direction he's moving, but the further away he is from that, the less the weight the bias has. So it's a weird little thing. That's probably the most complicated part about that. Here I thought I was the only one who forgot things when making games. Oh, I always forget things. That's why comments are so important, and why I need to do a cleanup session and go through and comment mine. So back to this. I can't remember how to do this, and I need to figure out, because I could have sworn there was an offset variable. I wrote a script for this. I should pull up the script and try to find the answer, because the answer's in that script somewhere. I'm doing a hexagon-based entry system using tilemap. Nice. Why? Sharp. I don't know. I wonder if we do this. What if we do this? No, that wouldn't work. Could you post the link you posted in the DMs? That does look interesting, and I'd like to look into it as well. Yeah. Hell, let me find it now. Well, it was me actually, but I was too dumb to figure it out. Oh, there you go. Sorry, Woodley. I was about to say because it sounded familiar. Let me go ahead and see if I can turn that up now. I'll go ahead and post that to y'all now in case y'all. Well, yeah. I'm gonna lose all my people, all my viewers, because y'all over here reading. So those two right there should be it. All right. This irritates me. Let me pull it up right quick. We can look at this script together. Let's see. This is actually a good thing about the videos that I make, because I often forget about stuff, and I'll even go back to my own videos and remind myself of how something works. Lasers. Oh, let's see. This one was gonna be a pretty funny one too, to be honest. Oh, let's see how far I get. I might not have got that far. Okay, well, we got that there. I don't think we got that far. That's unfortunate. Meh. Oh well. I already want to see this lightning in action. If I can figure it out, man, I want to see it in action too. Because I love the chain lightning spell. I'm really looking forward to making that one. But there's supposed to be. I could have sworn there was a setting here. What we could do. Maybe there's a special texture we can make. I don't remember doing that though. Game and Ever, you could probably use animated texture too. Yeah. What we could do, if nothing else, we could animate it manually. What are you trying to do right now? I'm trying. I've got this line render that's drawing a texture, so that I can render this like pick a point and then it'll render the sprite in between. And I want this to look like lightning in such that I want to move the lightning really fast. Like I want to I want to animate the texture moving basically. And I could have sworn there's a way to do it. I just cannot for the life of me remember how it is. Is ability upgradable like weapon? I'm thinking about that. I'm not sure how I want to do that. My issue with upgradable abilities is it makes me feel like if I want to, I have to put my abilities into the same abilities. I have to put my points into the same abilities, and so I want to get that makes you get less abilities. Instead, you want to focus and make the other ones more powerful. Whereas I would like to have it to where you can have a bunch of abilities and you just choose the ones that you like. That's the way I'm leaning towards. Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven. Okay, well, have fun with that one. I'm going to consider that spam, though. And I'm going to put you in timeout because that's funny. I didn't know that was an option. Let's see. Can't you get more options clicking the texture field? I've looked at that. I don't seem like it though. Let's try a different texture though. Like a different style of texture. Got animated. There's Atlas. I wonder if Atlas could do it. Maybe not. Oh, what's this? Where did you? Oh, that's weird. Oh, we gotta get the texture. I don't think Atlas would work. That's especially weird. Oh, I don't know. Let's not do that one. Cause I don't remember having to do it this way. I'll tell you what we're gonna do though. Tired of looking at this. We're just gonna manually do it. I would add a ghost effect on the lightning. What do you mean by ghost effect? So what is it? Alt, and there we go. And so the idea being, let's see. Let's try V to move this, and that's not gonna work. It's what I feared. For some reason in A-Sprite, if you try to move something, it doesn't tile the same way that you would hope for it to. And I don't know the best way to get around this. Can you use it? Well, I would have, but I don't know what to animate. I don't know what properties to animate to do it. I could have sworn I'd done this. I swear I did this. And it doesn't seem, I don't see it anywhere. It's kind of disappointing. What are you trying to do right now? I'm trying to animate this thing to where it moves the sprite. Like I want to offset the sprite. Oh, I think there was something in material for animated textures. Let me look. Animated texture. Frames, pulse, one shot. Doesn't look like it. Animate points. Well, that would wouldn't that offset it? Yeah, that would push it that way. I don't want that way. I could. Need it to be centered there because that's going to be where it launches from. Oh, man. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, the cool thing about this is doing it this way. With the line render is you can break this up. So I say you add another point. Well, that's just going to offset the textures. If I do that, it's no longer in the center. Unless I offset it that way, which I don't, seems like a hassle. I don't really want to, because I'll have to manage that through code as well. I'm just going to, I'm going to flip it. That's what I'm going to do. Just going to say boop, because we're spending way too much time on this. There. And then we'll create another one. No. And then this time we'll go shift vertical. Let's play what that looks like. There we go. It's good enough. You can't cycle through the lightning so that it plays multiple slightly adjusted versions of it. I didn't want to spend time making a bunch of them, but if I just flip it around and everything, it should pass as good enough. That's one of those things, right, where there's like spend 90 minutes automating something you could have done in 9 seconds or whatever. I spent all that time trying to figure out how to animate this texture. I could have just flipped it around and called it a day. My apologies for that delay. We can get this now. We could do an animated texture, couldn't we? Well, we need to export this sprite here. So if we say export sprite sheet, and we want to do all frames, we want to split these up. We'll go ahead and set the output to lightning, and we want to split these up by columns. Yeah. Game Endeavor. What about Atlas texture and then animating the region? I don't think we could get that to loop around. It's a repeating texture. I thought about that, but I don't think that would work as hoped. We need the animated texture though. Looking at these other ones just to see. Yeah. But yeah, I'll have to look, man, because I could have sworn I figured that out before. Maybe I think I have a project for it somewhere too. I could look at. I wonder if it's through code. Maybe I'll have to check to see what code the line has. I don't think so though. Yep. What am I doing? Animated texture. We need this guy. Can we do regions? Wait, what is that? Here. I think we can do. Can we do? I feel like that's going to be a hassle doing all these atlases. Let's export these. Let's render it out. I don't know. Export. Yeah, that should be fun. If we do it as a PNG, I believe it'll render out each one. Okay. Give it 2 frames or 3 frames, and we'll go this guy. This guy, and this guy. And then we need all these to be repeating. Boom. Now, that's not good though, because it's not tiling the other way. Oh, this is getting more and more depressing every time. Because that just looks like a bunch of noise. And the more I make this, or modify this, the worse it's gonna get. I got that. Oh wait. Okay, never mind. We look to be good. Just had to reset it, I reckon. Yay! Hello, Mr. Game Endeavor. Welcome to the stream, Quidgy Pixel. Is that how you pronounce that? You could probably use viewport texture and animate using the animate node. Maybe. This works though. I'm good with this. So there's our lightning ability. We want to speed up this animation though. Frames per second. Let's try 10. Everything else is running at 10. Looks a little. Let's try 20. Looks too fast. Okay, let's go with 10. What do y'all think about that? 10 FPS. Close enough. Thanks you. Oh, close enough. Okay. For your name. Looks pretty good. Okay, good. So we can move on from here. What is this? Get out of here. Alright, so let's try it. Should work automatically. Boom. Okay. I think that's alright. Alright, now for chain lightning. Oh, this one makes me giddy. It's so, I mean, chain lightning is really simple, I imagine, but it's, I don't know, it makes me giddy. I'm excited to do this one. Because I've never done it. Like, I get excited to do things I've never done. When they work. Let's see. Needs to be more pointy and broken, in my opinion. Yeah. I'm good with it for now, though. But I will make a note. I'll make a card for it, because I will forget, I guarantee it. Close that, and we'll say... let's close these searches. Open up our lightning ability. I think did I move it over here? Maybe. Ability lightning. We'll make a note of that. To be more. Is that broken and what? Broken and pointy. Yeah. Broken and pointy. Feel like it's a rope waving. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I just want to get something done because it's keeping me from my dream thing, which is to make chain lightning. How does it look with additive blend mode? God. I tried to use the animated texture because I have a ton of sprite sheets, and I use normal map on them. And I tried to use the animated sprite, but it only applied normal map in editor. Okay, so here's what's going to happen. Let's look at our lightning ability. And I haven't even thought about how I'm going to do this yet either. So we're going to plan this out as well. So what this does right now, let's make a new ability though, because we still want this to be separate. Entity. We need to make this. Let's duplicate this. I'll call it chain lightning. And this is going to be, it should be the same thing. It's just it makes a chain lightning thing, which I think I'm seeing a pattern here. I'm going to look at the fireball. Fireball might be the same thing. Well, no, it casts differently. I think this might be the only one that does it though, so we can just keep this as it is. It should be good. We'll say magic. We need to. We're probably also going to duplicate this. Duplicate that. To chain lightning entity. Or no, I tell you what, we can probably do this here. Just keep this, but we have a parameter for whether or not it's chain lightning, because it's the same logic. It's just going to do things a little differently. In fact, yeah, okay. I have an idea. So it's when we pass in from the ability, we're going to tell it how many times to cast the thing. For chain lightning, we could cast it for the nearest 4 enemies or whatever, or just we could find the nearest enemies. We could find, yeah, I think if we could do this one of 2 ways. We could find the nearest enemies in general for our starting point, or we can find the nearest 4 enemies, or whatever number. What is chain lightning? Will it follow multiple enemies? That is correct. So I will cast chain lightning. It will hit the nearest enemy, and then it will seek out the nearest enemy from that, and then the nearest enemy from that. Basically recursion. Or it may not even be from that. I think there's probably like a breadth first search or something like that. I don't know, some kind of search function to find it. We'll have to look at the different ways we can do this. Will this video stay on YouTube after you end it with the live stream? It will, and I think it'll be unlisted. So you'll need to on the home page, I have my live streams in a playlist at the very bottom, or you can check the playlist page. So you'll have to find it there, because I'm not going to list these, because I feel like it clutters up my video page too much, especially if I'm going to be trying to do weekly, ideally, devlogs. So I just use, let's see, I'm sad that I can't choose the specific amount of animation frame yourself in the animated texture. The animated texture is delta itself. Animated texture is a weird one. Will it deal less damage to the last enemies? Probably. Probably more damage to the nearby enemies. Okay. So, how to do this? Let's see. So, because we have to consider the way we go about this. If we do the nearest enemy, then we need to tell a specific, like we need to cast it at the first enemy, and then check all enemies in that area. And then that wouldn't be necessarily a chain, though. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is do each enemy. Okay. So what we're going to do is you're going to cast it at an enemy, and then it will find the nearest enemy from that. And then that one will do a search, maybe. The thing is, that won't look very... Well, it'll be a straight line if we do it that way. Alternatively, we could implement something so that looks more like... I think we'll do a straight line to begin with. We can always change this later. But ideally, we could also have something where it checks an enemy, and then like it goes up the chain or something, but then it comes back down and does it again. And so it can branch off. It'll have branches. That's something I think would look cool. But I think for now, we're just going to go for a straight line. Because I'm not sure how I would implement it. I've never implemented something like that. Speaking of normal maps, are you going to use any? I do not intend to use any lighting features. Godot's light 2Ds, in my experience, are not very performance friendly. They tend, unless I do any kind of personal lighting shaders, which I've done before. I do want to, but I do want to have, there is a specific lighting feature that I like where and this will be only like a cave or something like that, where the area around you is black, pitch black. And then you've got your light source, which casts out, and it'll get rid of that pitch blackness. And then it has like a radius, a ring around itself. Like it'll cast out, but not all of it. So it's still kind of shaded. And then even shorter than that, you'll have like a fully seeable. And then it would be cool if you could have these sort of merge in together, like when they overlap and stuff. I think I would have to implement that myself. I've tried to do this before using Godot, but it's not been easy. Maybe use an area 2D at the tip of the electric ray. For what exactly? Like to get the nearest enemies? This will be done in the same frame, so I would have to do my own ray casting, I think. Because it's like the way this works is like as soon as you cast this, like when you hit the ability button, it calls this method. It finds the nearest target. If there is one, then it sets that point. So immediately it hits the enemy, and it does damage, and then it just stays there for a little bit, you know. So like this is right as you hit the ability button. What I'm thinking is we use maybe some recursion here. So what we could do is we get a group of targets, and we find the nearest one. We pull that out of the array, because we're going to keep these in an array of the get nodes in group here. We pull that out, cast a spell, and then we call this recursion method to do that again. But now that the first enemy is out, it'll look for anybody that's not him. And we'll have to give it a position. So we'll have to pass in a position. It can default to our current position. And in this position, we would pass in the enemy's position that we just hit. It would then go through this method again, find the nearest enemy to him, but since he's not in the array, it won't find him. Once we find that enemy, we pull that enemy out and do it again. So set that position, and since these two are now out of the array, they won't be searched for. So the point to that being You hit the enemy, it hits this enemy, it can't then come back. Like it has to find a new enemy in the entire chain. The entire chain will only hit one enemy once. Circle shape 2D raycast maybe. Or are you like to find enemies? Collision, I think we can do this with just lengths. I don't think we need to do shapes or anything like that. I try to avoid using too many collision stuff with the Godot too, because that's also, if you've seen, I think, an issue with getting collectibles. So when we do these collectibles here, like all that, we first did using collision shapes, and it was just really buggy. Anytime you walked over, like not buggy, but laggy. So if you walked over a bunch of them, say 25, then it would lag the game. You'd start getting FPS drops. And then what I did instead was just use the length from the player to the item. If it's less than a certain amount, then it happens. And now I can pick up thousands of them with no issues. So I think we're just going to do length, because that's all we really need. It's just the distance between 2 points. All right, so sorry, no, you're fine, bud. Like I said in the earlier stream, man, these streams, I just enjoy chilling out with y'all. I don't, if I don't get anything done, y'all might not like it, or the people that just trying to watch might not like it, but I'm perfectly fine with it. I can work off stream if I need to. The streams, I like the streams because I get to interact with y'all. I get to get y'all's input, get y'all's feedback, and everything else. And that's the valuable thing to me. You get y'all's ideas, and so this what I like most about the streaming. I figured it out. Use the viewport node with the sprite inside of it. You give it the animation node and animate the region position, then assign the viewport to the viewport texture of the line 2 node. That sounds like a lot of work, but I mean, well, it's probably more simple than I'm imagining. But I'm good for now. I might look at it later. So for this, we need to have a method that finds the enemy, because we need to have a cast method. Or do we do the same? Well, because we need this to be separate. This needs to be separate. And then this has to be passed down. Let's make another method. I don't know what we'd call it, though. But we'll say function. Oh, logic. I don't know. Okay. Now, this doesn't need to take a direction. This can find anything in a circle. The direction here, it finds the one, like you can't cast this ability and then hit behind you, basically. So it uses dot product to make sure that the enemy is in front of you. Okay. So we don't need the direction. Do we need the user? No, I think what we're going to do is return an array full of what we're going to hit. In the order that we hit it? Probably. Interesting, because I do that with my game. Using an area 2D and cast the array to the body, it would exclude everything. Add to the array except the body. Yeah. So what we need here is we need a list of potential targets. This is what we're going to find. Yeah. This is going to be an array of everything, every node that we can possibly hit. We need the position that we want to hit. So we'll say at vector 2. This is what we're going to start checking. We need the distance that we can check. Let's make it a constant. We could add this as a property so we could reduce the distance every time. That would be interesting. But for now, oh yeah, I forgot about that. My tablet's weird in that if it's plugged up and not being used, it messes with my focus on the keyboard or UI or whatever. So constant max distance. What are we using here? Are we literally just finding any? Yeah, we are. There's no check on this. We could hit a target from like 20 miles away. Hey man, how you doing? I'm doing good, Star Wars. How are you doing, bud? I use it to detect the nearest colliding point from the player to the enemy. What, you using your raycast? I think, if you're doing the collision, yes. But I prefer to just use length for that kind of thing. So max distance, let's see. Let's say, for now, we'll say 8 tiles. Let's see. Yeah, so we have the max distance. We need something else. What was it? Oh, we need the number of chains left. Okay. This be an integer. I think that's all we need. Okay. So the cast here is what the ability is going to call. It's going to get the target group, which is enemies. For now, we're going to pass this in. Like we'll have a user, and then get enemy factions or whatever. Because we might have enemies that could use this ability or whatever. Okay, and then it gets those in an array. This logic right here is what finds the nearest one. This would be moved here. Let's see. Oh, there. Okay, and then that's what does the damage. We can disable that for now, because that's going to be different. Alright, so what the idea is we're just going to use this logic method here to return an array of targets that we want to hit in order. So when we return this method, so var tar, call this a link, equals, well, that's what we'll do. Get chain or something. Get chain. Oh, there we go. And we'll call this variable chain. And this is going to be an array of enemies that we're going to hit in order that we're going to hit them. So var chain equals get chain. Get chain. Okay, then potential targets. There. And so this would be the targets that we added. The at is where we're searching from. So this would be the user.global position. And then the number of chains left. Now this is the chain lightning. Well, this is the regular lightning. Well, it's both of them. So we're gonna make the chain lightning first. So we'll say 4, just for good measure. And I think okay. So that should be it. And this is that, like I said, that's going to return the array that we need. Oh, okay. Okay, we fixed that direction. Now that's one we need to consider as well. Okay, let's get rid of this for now. This is the dot product. We don't need it. And this, we need to do this for max distance so that we're not checking everything. The reason we're not doing this right now is because we want to do dot product on the first one, but not any after that. So we'll probably have like a parameter in here for that. But it's not important right now. So for the time being, you can cast this ability and hit everything around you. Not everything around you, but you can hit all around you. Alright, so we cast the chain, and this is not doing anything yet, because we need to return the thing. So we need to return the array. So we also have to pass it in. So we'll go ahead and pass this in right here. There. So when it calls that, it'll call it with an empty array, and the purpose of this is to add in the chain.append the target, nearest target. Oh, by the way, if let me work through this, so this makes sense. We iterate through all of the targets, and we get the displacement between them. We did that for normal, but we just need the distance for this. So we'll get the length between our target, which we need to do this differently. This is at there. So it gets the distance between the target that we're checking and where we're checking from, which is going to change to each target every time we do it. And we get the distance for that if the distance is less than our least distance currently. Like, actually, we don't want to append there. We do need to put that back. We need to say nearest target equals target nearest. Okay, good. So we store the nearest target so far during this loop, and then we set the new minimum distance. And then we keep iterating through the loop. And what this does is find the nearest one to us, or to this target, to at. And then we're going to add this to the array. And so it'll, to the back of the array. And then we're going to return the array. No, well, not yet. We need to, and this is where the recursion comes in. We can say if nearest target, which is something that would have broken, by the way. If nearest target is not equal to null. And yeah, we're going to append that there. If the number of chains is 0, is not equal to 0, it's greater than 0. Yeah. If the chain is number greater than 0, then we're going to start our recursion. So we're calling this method again, and it's going to keep doing this loop, finding the enemies. We also need to remove this target from the potential array. We're going to do that real quick before I forget. Potential targets, I think it's erase. Yes, erase nearest target. This will remove it from the potential targets that we're about to pass in again. Ivan says, howdy, Ivan. Welcome to the stream, bud. I don't understand how you don't need to play the scene every line you add to see if it works. I've been doing this for 10 years. I'm playing the stream in my head. I'm playing the game in my head. Is the Twitch stream up? No, I'm just going to do streaming on YouTube. I prefer streaming on YouTube. Are there going to be a maximum of targets? There is. Right now it's 4. So if number of chains is greater than 0, this is yeah. So that means, and we're going to decrease this amount each time we call this recursion method. So now that we've erased this nearest target from our potential targets, so he's no longer in that array, we can pass in the new potential targets, and he won't be considered, or anybody else that's been added to this array. And then the at position would be our nearest target's position. So we check wherever his at. So global position. The number of chains, which would be number of chains minus 1. This is what breaks the recursion, so you don't get an infinite loop. It's very important. And then the chain itself, which is the and the reason we need this is so that we keep hold of it. We're going to pass it. They're going to return it. I'll explain that in just a second. So yeah, chain. Break the line here. Oops. So there you go. And that's going to kick off our recursion. And then when all that recursion does, it's going to reach the end of our chain here, and then we're going to return the chain. And so it's going to create a function stack for each of these. And once it reaches the end, each function stack that we called is going to return the array for that we found. And so we will get at the end of it, when we get to here, we're going to have our chain that we'll have that in order. And so we can say for a target in chain. No, we need the index of the chain, because we're going to do everything but the last one. Maybe, yeah. So for I in chain dot size minus 1. The reason being, we're going to draw a line from this target to the next target. In fact, I think we're going to create a new line render for each one of these. So we're probably going to save the one we have as a scene and then instance these as we need them. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to call it lightning render. Attacks. Okay. Now we can delete this. Now for each of these, we're gonna need a starting position. So var at equals global position. So for each of these, we're gonna say var render equals preload lightning render dot instance. And this will create that line 2D. We will then add it to ourselves. Add child render. I need to set its global position. Wait, no, we don't. We're going to be doing that to reset position. So set, render, which we'll see if it keeps it set. Point position I, and then we're going to set it to at. Is the damage going to decrease through the target? So yes, we could do that. So this sets the first position. We're going to set it to our at position at the moment. And then we need to set the next one. Dot set point position I plus 1. This is why we need to do the -1 in this condition, because we're going to be adding that one there. And then we need to do chain I dot global position. And this will be the target that we're hitting. No. Hold on. Hold on. This is a tricky. We need to start. We're starting at our position, and we need to hit I. We're going to hit that position. And then we're going to iterate through that. But how do we hit the... Okay, no, that should be fine. That should be fine. Maybe. It's going to be weird. We'll have to see if it works. No. It's not going to draw a point to the last one. So we'll have to, okay. So we'll have to do it like a little primer. But at the end, I don't know if there's a name for that. We're going to have to do this logic again, but outside of the loop. Or what we could do this here. But we'll say if I is less than chain.size -1. There. And then we'll say that should be fine. Okay. We need the displacement for the knockback. Okay. So let's go ahead and get that. Displacement equals, we need to do this. We might have to do something weird here, because I think this is going to screw up our logic for the fact that we're not in this chain. So we might need to do this chain with us in it, but not attack us. Like skip the first one maybe. No, that sounds weird. Hold on. Okay, so the point here is to get the displacement between the chain and at. So chain I dot global position minus at. And at being our position. Right. Yeah. And then when we iterate through it, we're going to set at to the position of the current chain. I'm going to do that before I forget, because I about did. So at equals chain I dot global position. So that'll move up the chain as well as we iterate through this chain. We don't need the displacement next. Just go ahead and normalize this, because what we need is the normal to get the direction that we're trying to do this. So we can go ahead and get this in one line. A bit late, but you could also make it chance-based. You don't search all enemies. Instead, you just cast 8 rays from the first hit enemy. That would be inconsistent, and only if the ray cast hits something, it creates 1 or new bolts, then stops after 4 bolts. That would be inconsistent, and imagine if the enemy was between the rays and they were further apart. I think that would irritate the player. And the issue is, like, we're trying to iterate up the chain. So, like, you hit this enemy, it hits this enemy, hits that enemy. You could do that. You would have to redo the ray cast that way. But that's a lot of ray casting when you could just check for the position between them, the length between them. I'm just thinking that if the lightning chain can hit the player through the enemy, it would be funny. Can hit the player? Yeah. I think that would be frustrating for the player, though. I think we're about got this there. So normal, yeah. Then we just say chain I dot damage 1, and then the normal 0.25 because it has a weak knockback. User, do we have user? Yes. And null, what was null? I think null was the hitbox or the damage area. We're not using a damage area. We're using the just lightning. Okay. So let's look through this right quick. We iterate through the chain. We get the render. We add it to ourselves. We set its position from the initial position to at where we're doing it at. If the chain is less than, so if it's not the end of the chain, then we set the position to the next target. Okay. Now the issue is okay. No, we're good. We're good. I think. Okay, maybe. I feel like it's not going to work. I feel like this is going to be wrong, but we'll figure out what happens if it is wrong. And then we damage. Let's try it out. See what happens. Get couple position on string. Oh, user. Why is user string? No. Why did I'm because I must have weird. Okay. Paralysis effect on a yes, we should do some kind of paralysis. Okay, so let's try this again. This time passing in the proper value. Okay, that looked weird. Like this time, that was weird. Let's not do the damage. Let's see what happens if we don't do damage. Also, I want to not do this so I can test repeatedly. Let's see. It seems to be. Oh, hold on. No, it wouldn't do it, I don't think. It's always casting that way. That's interesting. Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, I know why. Okay. I think that's why. Okay, so that's yeah, what I'm thinking is There's not going to be a lot of enemies. These maps are going to be pretty small. Like, let's see. Forest, like that right there. That's about the typical size of a map. And you can see like 3, 6, 9. There's usually, I think there was like 5 here. So 14 enemies. 3, 17. And yes, yes, I do. Collision is very expensive, especially if you're using, well, I don't know how well the raycasts work with circles, but and the raycast, the issue with raycast, you're going to have areas, like I said, it's inconsistent. That was the biggest thing with the raycast. It's going to be inconsistent. If you have a raycast here and a raycast here, there's going to be an enemy here that doesn't get hit. So he's going to be standing right here and does not get hit by those raycasts unless you're doing a whole bunch of them. So in 8 raycasts is not that many. Because you're, I'm like, literally, there's 1 and there's 1. That's what that's going to look like. You're going to have 4, then 8, and then right there. So you're going to have this big gap where it might not get hit. So inconsistency is terrible in the game design. You want things to be as consistent as possible. If a player goes to use that spell, expects that target to get hit, and it doesn't because it's standing between these 2 gaps, they're going to get pissed. So no, I don't recommend raycast. Well, you said maybe a raycast towards an enemy, but I mean, you still have to loop through the enemy. So I don't know. I do not approve of that one. Okay, back. So let me look at this. So we cast from at to local to at. You could do shaped raycast. Is that a thing in Godot? And that sounds expensive. Render subposition. Okay, so we start this with at our global position. No, yes, because we add it to where we need it, and then it goes to the first position, and to local to the change global position. Could you check documents on doing manual raycast? I will. I've looked at the if the whole things, and I've not seen I've the way I've always done it was it's a very weird way around it. I used the motion property on the query shape parameter thingy, and then find I don't know why use I instead of set point position. Wait, why use I in set point position? Should be 0, I think. 0 and 1. No, because, wait. Ah, you are correct, sir. I am, yeah. Why, I don't know why I used I either. Okay. Good catch. Good catch. I know, I totally agree. It wouldn't be reliable, but I'm not sure I would consider that a bad thing for some games. I would. Okay, so yeah, we set the first one to that. Let's try that and see if that fixes it. I would have expected it to break. So that's closer. Okay. They're still going way over there for some reason. Let me try something here. Let's go lightning render. No. Let's open this up and get rid of this. Hi there, welcome to the stream, Toasted Gears. Okay, so now it's going back to me. Okay. So, it sounds like there's something wrong with this here, where it's getting an extra point that it shouldn't. One thing I want to test right quick though is it's not hitting that one enemy. I'm guessing because it's probably too far away. That's weird. Okay, well, let's go back to that though. Alright, so let's look at this. For target and potential targets, it gets the displacement, gets the distance between them, and it's the distance less than there, gets the nearest target. And it's the nearest target is not equal to null. What do I want to do? Tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to put a break here. I'm going to look at this chain, see what's in it. I'm really confused by making collision mask go away, and I come back and it just doesn't work and I'm clueless. Don't know what you mean there, bud. Okay, so chain array size of 3. We got Skelly Warrior. Okay, so chain array size of 3. We got Skelly Warrior, Skelly Warrior 2, Skelly Warrior 3. Okay, so they're all 3 in there. Well, the scenario I just described actually happened. What scenario did you describe? Oh, did you, are you asking for what the debugger is, or what are we talking about here? Here's what I'm going to do. When we append this here, now that adds to, okay. When we append here, I'm going to print nearest target dot name just to see if it see who it's hitting, so we can check it easily. No, it's not hitting the player from the looks of it. Oops. It's hitting the other skeletons, but for some reason that last one is drawing towards the player, which is weird. Oops. I can't imagine why. Oh, no. They're talking about making it hit the player now. For some reason, it looks like it is, but it's not. And that's weird. Chain eye global position. Late to the party, what are we debugging? I'm trying to do a chain lightning effect. And so when I do it, I get an array of targets to hit, then I iterate and try to hit the target. For some reason, it's pointing to the player last. So it's starting at the player. It goes through the chain, and instead, it's finding the other skeleton. But for some reason, it's drawing at the player last, which is really, really weird. At least that's my best assumption of it. What we can do, let's try this. Instead of doing this fancy way, just for testing purposes, because this is going to look weird with it being pixel art. We'll say for I in chain.size. Yeah. -1. We'll say, let's add it here. Var render equals, let's get this here. What we're going to do is we're going to render the lines, but we're going to I want to set these points up to be one line. So render dot set point position 0 to be the user dot global position. And then for I, we'll go render dot. I can get rid of this here. Render dot set point position I plus 1, so that the next point is set. We might need to create a couple points. We'll have to see how that goes. And then position will be chain I dot global position 2. We need to local it. So there should only be one bolt from the player to the closest enemy. The idea is I'm making a bunch of them. I'm making a bolt from the player to the first enemy, from that enemy to the next enemy, and then from that enemy to the next, and so forth, into a little chain. With this one, I'm making a bunch of different chains. With this one, I'm going, for testing purposes, I'm going to make one line and set the points along that line to go up. So it'll be one, but it'll look weird because it'll bend. So first, let's say render. I think we can set the points equal dot resize chain dot size plus 1. That might work. Now it's not working at all. Is there something? Oh, I need to add the render. Render dot add. Wait, no. Add child render. I think that's it. All right, now come on. What are you doing? Why are we doing this? Oh, I bet I know. Oh, hold on. No. It's weird, actually. Maybe. No, it's not it either. You are irritating me something fierce. Okay. For some reason, this render set position point position. First one to chain 0 dot global position. I am back. Did I miss the lightning work? Not yet. Too local. Did I not do it for the other one? I bet I didn't. And I guaranteed I said I should die. Gets me every time. Gets me every time. The game artwork looks awesome. Thank you, bud. I appreciate that. Okay. Alright. Now, back to this. We want this one here. Too local. That's the whole reason I put those parentheses on our iPad. Too local chain global position. Alright, good. Alright, let's try this. Is it comment everything time? Yeah, it is comment everything time. It was, there we go. Because as you can see though, that's one of the issues here. Alright, so that works. Which means my logic must be off for this thing here. So back to this. So the last bolt will hit the player. No, it starts at the player and iterates up the line. And then the last bolt hits the last enemy. Yeah, that's, for some reason this is what it was doing. It was hitting the last one, which is not what we want. So, we start at global position. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. We're not going to do this at thing. I think the at's throwing me off somehow. We're going to say chain dot push front user. Wait, wasn't that 2 bolts already? Yes, but it was using points here. It was bending the thing, which looks weird. Does it always hit all the enemies? No, we have a limit to it. We have 4 here. We just happen to have 3 enemies, and there's a distance limit. And if it goes up the chain, and it finds that it didn't hit anything from the max distance, in our recursion loop here, it only calls it if there was a target to hit, and if it's not, and if it hasn't exceeded the max. That's it, and it breaks us out of our recursion. All right, so var render goes, okay. We'll add the render. Will you use some kind of timer so that lightning doesn't hit everyone at once? It hits when it gets summoned, and then it stays there for visual effect. It doesn't hit you if you run across it. So this despawn timer here. So it does its damage right off the bat as soon as you call the thing, and then it just despawns so that you can see it. So what we're going to do is we're going to push the user in front of the array, and then we're going to iterate through this array, and we're going to draw from, let's see, render, we got, okay, so from, we need to do chain size -1, chain I dot global position, and then I think we can get rid of this, and then set the next one to chain I +1. Do that, and then get rid of that. Do you know how to make separate rotations on sprite groups? Like a guy, he turns his head, and after 0.1 seconds, scale, his body rotates too. But I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so that works. Now we just need to damage the entities, and so we don't want to damage the first one because we are in this array. So if I is greater than 0, we need the normal though. Var display normal, var normal equals chain I. Wait. If I is less than chain.size, because we're going to be doing the chain +1, I think. So chain I, or chain +1, we're going to damage. And then we'll say chain +1 minus chain I. Right, we need global positions. Chain I. We're gonna add a period to the other one. That should be fine. All right, let's try this. Oh, not length. Normalized. Excuse me. Oh. There we go. Now, let's get a bunch of these skillies. It's hitting more than I expected, though. Seems like it was hitting 5. Let's get this down to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. It works, yay. So yeah, so the numbers are for it's only supposed to be hitting 4, so we're off by 1, which honestly is something that don't usually happen to me, which is weird. Let's see why. And change is greater than no. Here. It's weird, it's weird, it's weird. If I go to lightning here. No, here. Set this to 1. It'll hit 2. If I'm right. Yeah. So we pass in the number. We go through here. I bet it's because we should do this. I think that's why. Because we're saying, that's how I'll explain it. So if this is 1, if the way we had it, we'll say, if 1 is greater than 0, it's true, but we shouldn't get another chain here because we're going to be subtracting 1. And so that's going to make it 0. And so we're passing in 0 here when we shouldn't. Like if that minus 1, which is what our now chain's in, because this is part of the chain. If that's 0 or greater than 0, then we want to keep doing it. Hi, just joined. Hit me up with the news. We just made a lightning effect. We got this basic lightning effect here, but if we come up here and pass in a variable, let's go 3. It'll make a chain lightning. So. Nice. Okay. It is getting like 1 FPS on live stream whenever you start the game. Do I have it on full screen? No, I don't know why it would do that. It's weird. How long does it do the 1 second? That's got to be annoying. So yeah, there's the lightning ability. So let's go. We have a chain lightning ability here. When we cast this, yeah, same. I don't know. I have to look into it. So when we cast this, we want to pass in that, I think. Why are you using borderless window for the game? Because it looks pretty, I think. Now I'll probably get a screenshot or something. Typically, when I get screenshots, I'll use a window capture, and it's just easier for me to do that if I don't have the border. And we can turn it back on if you like the border so much. There you go. All right. So chain lightning, we can get rid of this. Now we have a chain lightning ability. Oh, we don't need to. We need to do the. We need to pass them in this. So number of chains equals 1. That'll be the default. And then we could have an upgraded ability where have like increase your chain size or whatever. That would be cool. So let's get that. Let's reduce the cost of the lightning ability. Say 22. Borderless looks cool. There we go. We'll go back then. Okay, and so when we cast that, this is the base lightning. We'll have that. Then when we cast this one, we also need to fix this. So user, the cost of that one will be more expensive. We maybe fade out the lightning effect instead of just queue free it instantly. Oh yeah, I will over time. I'm just concerned with implementation rather than aesthetics right now. That is not the that's not how it will look finally. And if I do it like probably not too long of a fade though. I think lightning is usually, it feels very sudden to me. I think I need to look at some lightning to get an idea for what lightning looks like. Oh, we need to, so chain lightning. We'll make a constant here for max chains. And we'll say 4. You liked it better with the border? Well, you know what, Tacker? I'm gonna go with you, whatever you want, bud. All right. Now we just need to assign this ability to our player. It's funny. I think that's supposed to be. Maybe my mapping's off. I need to look at that. No. Interesting. I love watching these streams while working. Nice. Okay. Oh, maybe I didn't have mana. No, that's not the issue. Weird. Okay. Let's go here. Make a breakpoint. That message definitely needed the clarification. It was cut off in an unfortunate way. Oh. What is load? Is it similar to preload? It is. Preload loads it at runtime, and load runs it whenever it gets called. The reason I'm using load there is because if I were to use preload, it crashes the game because it hasn't loaded my for these up or whatever. So for some reason it's not loading these first, and so I'm having to use load there. So yeah. So chain lightning. Test it again. See, it's not getting called. I'm guessing my hotkey thing's not working as expected. So here we have the input. We have, and that would be why. Terrible work. Terrible work. It's still not. Why do you hate me so much? I think it would be better to hit the enemy one through one instead of hitting them all together at once. We could do that. That would take a bit more logic. I'm gonna make a card for that. I don't want to do that right now. You agree with the comment above? I agree. I think that would look better. So, add a card for the chain lightning. No, I don't think we could probably do that right now. Delay chain increments. My concern with that, though not too much of a concern, is if the enemy was to, like, because we're probably gonna have to throw in some yields. And yield plus there'll be functions, and because it's a recursive function, it'll be weird because when you put a yield in a function, it returns that function, and then you have to sort of yield for that function. I don't like doing that, so that'll be weird. Let's get rid of these two. Clean this up. Because here, when we get chain, that would be interesting too. The way I'd probably do that then, instead of doing recursion like this, I would probably create the first chain, create the first lightning, and then tell it to look for the next lightning in a little bit. But I don't know. That's going to take some thinking. Especially if I want to do branching later on. Because recursion is easy so long as we're passing stuff up. Like if I create a lightning bolt that creates a lightning bolt that creates a lightning bolt, I can just pass up information that way. But when you have a branch, you have to, the updated information, like the information here, we can't then pass it down up to this branch. Like, and I mean you can, but it's like a weird thing. But wouldn't the delay be in the for loop outside of the recursive function? Maybe actually. If we go ahead and get the enemies first, yeah, you're actually right. Yes, good point. So we could, and then we'll have to just make sure that the enemy still exists. We could get their position though. Let's do that. No, we need to hit the enemy. We could still use our position though. Well, because my issue is, what I'm thinking about here is, say an enemy in the chain dies right at that moment. We can't get their position because will throw an error. Which means we can't get we could still draw at their position if we could store the position ahead of time, which means we'd probably have to create another array. And we can't just store the positions because we need to damage the entity here. Can't you make some kind of function that uses summoner position and target position? Make the summoner be the enemy who got the lightning, like every enemy cast down his own lightning. I don't get what you're saying. The art is very cute. The player and the fox are and the player and the cutest and the skeletons are cute and fierce in a way. Super art. That is the intention. I want to have like a cute but deadly art. It's the style that I'm going for. Especially the later on you get into the game. I want to have some interesting, really cute undead enemies like a I don't know. I've got ideas, but I don't know how to put them into words. Like one idea that comes to mind is like an eyeball, like a giant eyeball, but it's got like a jaw on its mouth. So like here's you've got your jaws, when you got an eyeball inside of it. It sort of floats around, but it's like really cute, like a dog. I think that would be cool. Maybe even have a little tongue. Because the main villain in this game is a necromancer. So he'll be summoning up all these skeletons and stuff. So skeletons are going to be a very common type. Like not just basic skeletons, but like unique types of skeletons, like the ones that I just described. But yeah. Well, I'm not concerned about it right now, though. That seems like polish. But I'm happy. Oh, the map, is it working right? This is still not working. And I don't know why. Let me look. Here, I'm expecting this to call here. That should be called. If that doesn't call, like, that's the joy ability. No, that's not right. This one. Cute soul coming out from the body, maybe. Yeah. I want to have sort of. I don't know how I'm gonna do this yet, but sort of like a black, like smoke, but like body-like, sort of like a tail that comes out of a lot of this stuff. Like imagine like a skull, but like with a sort of black tendril kind of thing. It's not really creepy tendrils, but just sort of added. I think it should be a little cute thing. Do some monster like Bow Wow from Link's Awakening Mario reference that helps you attack others. I think I had an idea from that, but I don't want to steal from that. But I think that would be cool. Chomp Chomp. I think it's Chomp Chomp. Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I think they have different names. I don't know. Okay, so that's not getting called. Which means that probably that's not getting called. Secondary modifier. Is that what that was called? Ability modifier B. I might not have that mapped yet. Oh, no, it is. Ability modifier B. Oh, that is why. Okay, that should fix that. And if we go here, there. Nice. I like it. Let's see what that mana feels like for the smaller one. Do the classic print. Okay, I figured it out. It works now. Oops. Let my mana heal up. I think we should make it more powerful. I haven't done any of the damage values, by the way. I just am passing in one for everything. What I'm going to do probably is have like maybe a JSON that stores these values so that I don't have to go to each individual scene to sort of change everything. I want to be able to change and balance values from one file or whatever. Epic Lightning. Well, thank you, bud. GG, easy. That was a lot more hassle than I expected it to be. Alright, so let's move those off our list. We will add some tweaks, though. So we want to say, we should have a polish thing. Because I don't want to fill up my to-do list with, in fact, we'll put it down here. I don't want to fill up my to-do list with all this polish stuff. So we can say Delay chain lightning per entity. Can you keep the lightning pressed? Clicking every time seems a bit off. We could do that. Let's see what we could do. I don't know how I would want to implement that one, because we want to keep checking for the entity each time. Okay, so what I'm thinking. Let's see. Oh yeah. What are our abilities? They're a resource. We could make this. We need to add some kind of cooldown though. Otherwise, the player will be able to call this method 60 times per second. And unless we do, let's see. He is prepared for every free time. For his every free time. And it should increase the damage the longer it's hold until the maximum damage is reached. So it starts very slow and useless until it gets good. Not so certain I'm filling that one. My intention for the lightning bolt was for it just to be a very powerful spell. Like because like I said, I haven't done any of the damage values, so I expect if I keep it to where it's just one hit, I expect that to be a one hit kill, like right there. Maybe increase the mana too. And make, because chain lightning will be have more advanced ability. You'll probably have more mana down the road, so I'll probably increase it as well. So like one hit probably drain half your mana, and it'll like instant kill that thing. I'll probably do like 4 hearts of damage or something. That was what I was thinking of. I don't really have a health system that could easily do a strong damage over time, unless I do lay things out, because everything has really low health. Like they have 3 health, I think. Yeah. And my character, when he has I think he has 10 health when I start this game, because each heart is 2 health. So they have like a heart and a half. I could tweak that, but it's not something I want to get into right now. Well, then it starts. Well, then it starts. So more powerful and you keep it. I think I already said that. Yeah, let's look at I think I'm done with the lightning for now. What is this though? Take a screenshot of that. I'll look at that later. Alright, so we'll add another one here. Lightning damage per second. Something to consider. I don't know how I want to do this yet, because like I said, I had considered lightning to be just a very powerful one-off spell. But let's move these to done for now. What's this? Paralysis. Let's make a card for that. I have a status effects card. We'll add it to that one. Alright, see what else we got. Let's look at the parry system. Okay. Now, the parry, the way I want parry to work is you do the ability, it sort of puts you into a stance for maybe half a second, and any attacks detected within that time, you deflect back with a greater damage. So, I think we need a parry state for the player. And then when you use the parry ability, it'll push you into that state. I'll close all these. Let's see. It could also be cool to trigger multiple shots with one button press, make the damage a bit lower, but shoot a 6 long chain. And then, oh, that could be interesting. So not a chain, but like to shoot out 6 in a direction. We could do that. I don't know what we'd call that. For now, unless you have a better name, we'll call it spread lightning. Spell. Now that will be interesting because we already have the lightning logic. I have an idea though. I have an idea. Or do you mean like an AoE type of thing? Just hit a bunch of enemies with it. Well, that's still what I would have in mind, I think. Like hit all the enemies in that direction, maybe? Yeah, let's try that. Oh, what did you mean then? Let me see. Let me just read it again. I would like to know what you meant. Multiple shots with one button pressed to make the damage a bit lower, but shoot a 6 long chain. Oh. So, so you're talking about the chain again. So, by doing different size chains, make a damage a bit lower, but shoot a 6 long chains. And then iterate down. Not so sure about that one. Although it would be cool to have, maybe not so many. Maybe do like 3. And then like you cast the chain out, and then you cast it again, but try to randomize it up a bit. Instead of finding the nearest one, you could find the nearest and then pick a random one. And we want to have it so that it doesn't pick the same order each time, so we'd have to find some way to do that. I think that would look cool. So that's something we should look at. Right, so what I'm thinking of, so let's go here. Yeah, it would. I think that would look really cool, and with it flashing multiple times. I'm thinking instead of just going down a long chain like that, maybe 3 times. Just a hard 3. But like I said, we want to randomize it so it looks different. Let's see. Which is... No, okay. Let's see how we're adding this lightning entity. When we call lightning, we add entity to the level. We should actually add this to the player. Let's see if that breaks anything. It would mess it up with rotations, I think. We don't rotate the player, do we? Seems fine. Okay. And the reason I want to add it to the player is because if we linger it around, we'd want it to keep following the player, probably. Because right now, when we add it to the level, it stays where it's at. Which, I don't know. For now, we're going to set it as top level. No. If we, actually, that's another thing to issue. I could do, if we were to remove the player, I'd get rid of it. We'll go back to the level for now. We'll take a look at it later. Now for the spread lightning, we want this entity. I'm thinking, is the parry going to reflect projectile? Because that's what it's going to do in my game. Normal attacks would block the projectile, and parry would deflect it. We could do that. That would be cool. Right now, I don't have this. Well, I'd have to flip some things. Because right now I'm using different layers for player and enemy hazard, which is a bit of a hassle. I want to get around that. But layers have plagued this game so much. Like, I've spent so much time dealing with buggy layers. Like, I had a skeleton sword that would not attack the player for whatever reason if I set the layer through code. If I kept the layer there at the beginning, then it worked. And so I actually had to go and make a specific skeleton sword that would have the player's layer on it, because I could not set it through code. Would not work, no matter what I tried. And I spent like an hour trying to figure out why. It was a pain in the rear end. So for this lightning, what did you do? Get the chain. Cast the lightning. I'm thinking we just make a new one. Okay. Because this is going to be similar but not the same. Probably duplicate this because that one's going to be very similar. Oops. So spread lightning. What this is going to do is it's going to attack everything around you with the lightning. Sort of like what are they called? Those little static balls. Have you ever seen them? Like, you touch them and they shoot out a little light towards your finger. Imagine that. Like, you touch that and it's just going to spread out a bunch of lightning, but only it's going to have to hit the nearby target. So the more targets that are around you, the more area, the more you hit. So it's a big old AoE lightning attack thing. All right. So we duplicated here. And instead of that, we're going to do a chain lightning thing. So we'll duplicate that to, or lightning AoE or something like that. Do you think that layer issue had something to do with entering the tree? I don't think so. It was when I set the layer. I can't remember what the issue was exactly. I don't know. I'd have to look at it again. But it was here. What was it? It's a damage area. No. I don't know. I have a method somewhere called set faction, and it wasn't working. Where are you from? I am from North Carolina, originally. So spread lightning. Here. All right. We want a new script, but we want to duplicate the script. Okay. So what this is going, now we're still going to use this. We're not going to chain it though, so it's going to be a little different. So we don't need to push the user onto it. Instead of iterating through it that way, we're going to iterate from the user.globalPosition to the chain I global position. Which means we can iterate through all of them. We don't have to do that. And then we can iterate this. We don't need that. We do need that. This will be the the user's got global position to the chain's I position. Get rid of that. Alright, so that's that done. I already fixed that. The chain will be different. Instead of, it's not going to be a chain, it's going to be, we're going to make a method called get targets. We're going to just pass in the position that we want to check. And we'll have a max targets. It's going to be an integer. We'll default to infinity. So you can hit everybody around you. And we want a distance. Which we'll keep up there. I want to start a YouTube channel, but I'm too shy to make videos. Any tips? Just do it. I was too shy to make videos too. I'm very shy. I've lived a hermit lifestyle. I don't interact with people. I'm very, what do you call it? There's a word for it. It's a very common word. I don't know why I can't think about it. Introverted. I am very, very introverted. So just jump in there and do it, bud. The biggest tip I can give you is to just throw something up there. That's what I did with me. I put a deadline on my first video. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it. And I'm going to throw it up there. Whether or not it's, you know, like, no matter how good it is or whatever thing. You know, I just like, I need to have this video up in 2 weeks. That's what I said to myself. Like, in 2 weeks, I'm going to make a video. I'll throw it on YouTube. And so once you get that first video out, it's a little easier. Because then I didn't want to just quit, like after I had already started it. I was like, I have to keep going. I want to make a video every week. Set yourself a deadline if you're a procrastinator like me. You know, you have to have a video out every so often. Yeah. And most computer geeks are introverts in my experience. Yeah. I agree. Introverted. It means I don't know the exact meaning, but you're very reserved, stick to yourself. You don't mingle with people, you don't talk, you don't go social gather and all that stuff. I record video, but I hate my voice, so did I. Everybody hates their voice. Siso did a video on this. Most everybody hates their voice. It probably sounds nasally, right, and higher pitched than you're used to. And that's because you're used to hearing your voice through your jaw and your face. Like when you hear your voice, you hear your voice in the air, but you also hear it resonating through your body, and so it sounds deeper and more resonant. But no, your voice is not that deep. It's very, very high pitched usually. I mean, some people have really low pitch, but it's higher pitched than you think it is because of the way sound works. But oh no, I got you. I was about to say, yeah, your voice is very, very different to you. And it's something. Well, I don't think everybody gets used to. It's something I've gotten used to. Like I used to hate hearing my voice, but now I don't mind it one bit. It's probably because I've heard it so many damn times. Because of me, I'll record my voice, and then I'll go through and I'll do all the editing to my voice, and then I'll go through when I'm doing my video editing. I have to listen to it again, and then when I finish the video, I'll listen to it again to see how good the video is and find ways that I can improve. That's very important if you're making videos of any kind. You listen to yourself, watch your videos, and find out how to improve yourself. There are special headphones that take advantage of how you hear your own voice. Oh, really? Bone phones. That's a really cool idea. That is crazy. I would have never thought. That's why people make the bucks, man. And that's why I don't make bucks. Your voice is fine to me. Thank you. I appreciate that. To me, it's not. It's very up there when I listen back to it or whatever. Do you use scripts for devlogs? Yes, absolutely. I can't say 2 sentences without going, and flipping my words. For some reason, I'm able to pull it off a little better doing live streams. I have no idea why. As soon as I hit record and start trying to record a video, though, like constant. Like my videos tend to be around 6 to 8 minutes long, and I tend to record for about 20 minutes. 20 minutes for each video. 20 to 25. It's usually at least 20 minutes though. That's how bad my screw ups are. Just got here from the bear platformer tutorial. They're all bear platformer tutorials. But welcome to the stream, bud. Let's see, I think all but one. I do have bone conducting headphones. Speaking of bone conduction. Yeah. That sounds really cool. I mean, granted, like I said, if you do it enough times, it does not matter. But that's really cool. I like that idea. Oh, let's see. Oh, right. So the point of this is to get every target that we want. And get, yeah. And we need the at and the max targets. And then the max distance, which is up there. Okay. So, all we're going to do is we're going to iterate through again. Right, and just append everything we need. It's very simple. So, oh, and we also need potential targets. Do we want to pass those in? No, we'll make them here. We'll do it here. We also need to do this. User.global position, and we'll leave that. Okay, and then for target in targets, if target, far distance equals, right? Yes, far distance equals. In fact, this is silly. We don't need to get targets method. We can do this all in one shot, all of it, every bit of it. I just got rid of that one thing though. Just bring this back. Okay. For target to target, if this far distance equals target dot global position minus our global position, user's global, actually our position. No, user, just in case. User dot global position. During live streams, you are conversating, talking freely, but when recording, we are talking exams about how good our memory is. Taking exams, I reckon. Yeah. It's the very different things. Let's see. And we just want the length. Now, we need to... There's something else I need to do. No, we don't need this. Okay. And if the distance is less than... Now, there is something we need to consider. For now, we're just going to do every entity around it. If we were to do a set number of enemies, say you'd only hit the 4 enemies around you, we would want to get the nearest enemies and sort them. But I'm not concerned about it. For now, we're just going to hit all of them. Memory, use a script, and editing. Then you look like you know what you're talking about. There you go. Yep. I would not be able to make devlogs or not make anything without a script. I thought about it. I was like, when I was doing the devlogs, I was like, I'm just going to just do this off the cuff, and then it never happened. Like I kept pushing the recording down, like kicking the can down there, just because I didn't want to record without a script. And so I was like, if I don't make a script, I'm never going to record. So I ended up writing a script. This might be the longest stream you have until now. I don't think so. I started at what, 12:45. I've only been streaming, and I haven't even hit the 2-hour mark yet, bud. I've streamed for up to 3 hours before. However, I'm probably about to call it here in a little bit once I get this done, because I need to stretch my legs and take a break. If distance is less than max distance, I'm just thinking here. Then we just do the thing. Since we're not needing to store any information, we just make the render, do all that. Yep. We can just take all that there and get rid of this. So var render, set the position to the user's local position. this would be the target, as with this. And in fact, you keep the displacement here. That way we don't have to do this again. And we can just say displacement.length. And since we're keeping this short, we don't need a variable for it. We can just replace this here. And just replace this here. And then the normal can just be the displacement.normalized. Okay. See, how do you know that you are writing the efficient code that strikes me all the time? The feeling strikes me all the time? I mean, your code doesn't have to be the most efficient. It's just make sure you have good code. Like Nathan said in his video, if you're worried about your code, have someone else look at it. Get their thoughts on it. With me, one of my favorite things about game programming is making efficient code. So it was always just, like, it was always just a fun thing for me to do for the tutorials and stuff. So it's very natural to me. Oh, I didn't mark the ability or anything. Very silly of me. Let's get rid of this too. We don't need this. Alright, so spread lightning. I need, I swear they only ever cut grass whenever I'm doing streams. Any other day, like, they would never do it. And then the playable character, or the player, because I finally renamed it. I'm happy about that one. I kept typing in the wrong thing, getting irritated. So abilities, just copy that, and then nice white noise. Yeah. I appreciate all the yeah. I swear, like, because seriously, like, the past few times I've streamed, I figured, hey, we'll cut some grass, and then, like, they don't, never any day between that. We need to set this here. And if I'm correct, this key should be Alt right click. So, pretty nice. Now, since we're doing the spread like that, we don't need as big of a distance, I don't think. Because as it is, they could probably hit him really far off. Like, bam! Bam! What does the fox do right now? He just follows you. That's the only thing he does. And I really need to fix his flipping behavior. But, and later on, he's probably going to do some attacking, maybe. I'm just new to game development. If I have a problem, I just go check the documents and ask questions on Reddit and Godot and Q&A. Yes, the documentations is where I go. Anytime I have a question, I go to the documentations. You can find the methods and the variables and everything else that you need to know there. It's a great learning source. Thank you. The lightning looks great. Thank you. And it's funny because I'm guessing the fox is in the, he's in the players or the friendly group or whatever. So they're actually targeting him. But I mean, he don't have his hitbox is off, so they can't kill him. Make it rotate when it goes left. Fox effect being cute. There you go. What does new do similar to instance? Instance is for scenes, so packed scenes. Like if you want to create a node or whatever. This here is referring to. So yeah, so this lightning render, it would make a new node here, which is pull it up. So it would make one of these, which is not going to show anything, but whatever. It's a new scene, so it's a line 2D. It would create it, whereas with the player, it would make an ability. If we look up ability, it's a resource, not a node. So it's yeah. So instance for nodes, new for resources and stuff like that. You are good. Keep it up. Thank you. I think I'm going to call it there though, since they're cutting the grass and yeah, like I said, I need to go stretch. So we got the lightning going. I'm not sure too how much I'm feeling about the spread lightning. It looks a little weird, but we'll see. Got chain lightning going. It doesn't really look like a chain, but it's good enough for now. I would like to have branches in it. I think that's pretty good. And then I still want to do some melee abilities. And then we have the ranger, which I'll probably be working on some bow abilities as well. So like a piercing shot, maybe a fire arrow, wedge shot, shoot a little bunch of arrows in a spread. I think that would be good too. So y'all take it easy, and I'll catch you later.